All right, what's going on, people? Back on the second channel. I'm going to get straight to the point because after 14 hours without power in my area in Houston, it's finally back on, and there's no telling when it'll be back off because they are turning off our power with no warning. So we are really down bad right now out here in Texas. But I want to talk about 2K really quick. Recently, I found myself playing NBA 2K21 on current gen a lot lately. This is the most I've played it since last year. I played it for like 2 weeks when it first dropped and deleted the app because there wasn't much incentive to really play 2K21 on current gen at the time. The game is really just a reskin of last year's game with a few additions and changes. I bet you can't even tell in this gameplay right now if this is like from 2K20 or 2K21. Y'all let me know in the comment section if you can tell the difference. But on the my player side of things, the addition of the 2K Beach was an unimaginative, lazy, mediocre place to play. The build system is god awful with heavy limitations on what you can do with builds. It's just not worth the grind, especially if you compare it to what they're doing on next gen consoles with the builds, with seemingly little to no limits on what kind of player you can create. Current gen definitely got the short end of the stick in that aspect, and the gameplay was and still is terrible, with the green window being minimized to such a point where it's virtually impossible to make consistent shots without having at least mid 80s to a high 90s rating for your shooting. You will be missing more than making jump shots no matter how open you are. Players feel sluggish on offense and out of control on defense. Feels like you're ice skating when you're trying to defend your matchup. Even with a defensive build like my perimeter defender power forward, it's still difficult to stay in control. And just to really sum up NBA 2K21 current gen, the game is just not fun to play. My team is the only thing I can say is enjoyable in some kind of way, but unless you're willing to spend money to open packs to get contracts to keep playing, then you're out of luck at that point. Even months after putting the game down, 2K hasn't done anything to make this game more enjoyable, and from what I'm sure a lot of people have heard, 2K21 Next Gen is having its own major gameplay issues that are game-breaking problems, and 2K isn't fixing that either. So I guess it's safe to say that 2K21 was a flop for both releases, accompanied by one of the worst console launches we have seen. But with all that being said, 2K21 on current gen has made me realize that I have an immense appreciation for 2K20. The game is not the greatest 2K by any means. It has its issues, especially during its cycle a year ago, but 2K20 provides something that 2K21 doesn't deliver, and that is an enjoyable basketball experience. Like I said, the game has its issues, but at least it feels like a complete game rather than the inconsistent experience that is 2K21. You get the feeling that the game was slapped together just to put it out for the sake of a cash grab as we were preparing to make the jump to next gen. But 2K20 doesn't feel like that. Builds are more versatile and there's more freedom to get creative with your archetypes, with the green window being a lot bigger than 2K21's. You really benefit from knowing the timing of your jump shot, no matter if you have a high 60s or a high 90s shooting rating. Even though at the time, it was definitely frustrating how non-shooting builds were greening with a lot of consistency, but now after bricking so much on 2K21, you come to appreciate the freedom and feel how fun it is to be able to have a 3 in your arsenal along with Hall of Fame defense and rebounding, like with my rebounding wing, not to mention power forwards, if done correctly, can have access to pro dribble animations. Even at 6'9", I should know because I managed to make a 6'9" slashing playmaker a while back. Still a rare breed till this day on 2K20, and that really drives my point home with this video. The fact that with enough tinkering, I could make a 6'9" power forward with guard-like dribbling, have the ability to knock down threes, out-rebound most 7-foot centers, too quick to guard for big men, and too big for most small forwards and guards. It all equals a pretty fun experience to have a player like that. And at the end of the day, What makes or breaks any game is if it has the ability to have the fun factor. People play games to have fun, point blank, period. And 2K21 misses the mark on that by like 100 yards. If you are somebody like me who's stuck on current gen and wants to scratch that basketball itch, don't waste your money on 2K21. Get 2K20 instead.